Good morning, everybody. I started trading stocks around 13 years ago. If you're new here, my name is Kenneth. And if you're new here, you'll notice the camera's a little crooked. There, I fixed it, I think. Probably should have done this before I started filming, but I haven't even had my coffee yet. I started trading 13 years ago. And I really started trading stocks 13 years ago. And I have a feeling, by the way, this is going to be one of those long meandering videos, so you can have it on in the background like a podcast. I started trading 13 years ago because prior to that, I was working minimum wage jobs. I was working in a gym and I was making like $7.25 an hour. And I was very unhappy, very, very unhappy there. They were management. I had always wanted to do membership sales. And at the time when I got hired, I was writing a book, my first book. And the manager said, look, we're not hiring membership consultants at the moment, but I know you're writing this book. Why don't you get the job at the front desk? Bring your laptop, you can write your book, scan people in, answer the phone, easy. And I was like, hell yeah. The job morphed very, very quickly because the company, and funny coming from a stock trader and an investor, but the company went public and that ruined everything. As soon as you could buy stock in the company, the fun neighborhood gym vibe was killed immediately. And it became very corporate and miserable. And I remained, I stayed there because I liked the job and I didn't like the pay, but I liked the job and I liked the people. I didn't like other things that comes with every job. And gradually over time, management shifted many, many times because, they were hiring morons and they would realize they were morons and they'd fire them and they'd bring in other morons and they'd fire them. And we had this new manager and he said, hey, why don't you try membership sales? You'd be very good at it. And it was like, damn it. Like the whole time I've been working here, I've been waiting for this opportunity. Now the opportunity presents itself, but it's not a gym I want to work at anymore. It's not a culture I want to work at anymore. They treated their staff so poorly. And I was like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work here anymore, period, in any capacity. Being a membership consultant would have been sweet. I would have gotten $60,000, $70,000 a year salary instead of $30,000 a year answering phones, doing front desk stuff. But I was realizing that I had aged out of that type of job. I didn't know what I had aged into though. I knew I knew what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I wanted. As a fan of the stock market and a casual investor, I owned stock in WWE. I purchased, which is now TKO, but it was WWE in 1999. I bought Apple in 2003, and I bought more Apple in 2009. I bought Meta, Facebook in 2012 on IPO day. There's only been 3 stocks that I bought on IPO day: WWE, Facebook, and Kava most recently. Usually I stay away from IPOs because IPOs can be very volatile. But those were the companies that I thought, I don't care, I want to own them today because I think long term they're going to do very well. And they did. WWE took a while, but once it started gaining momentum, it started doing all right. So I had my 3 little stocks, and I bought Tesla at some point later on too. But anyway, I had like an interest in the markets, and there were these people who would come to my gym. I've told this story a lot, so if you are familiar with it, you can skip ahead a little, but I'll keep it brief. And they would talk about stocks that they were trading, and my assumption was they're old, they have Mercedes and BMW, so they're rich. They must know what they're talking about. So anytime I heard one of them say like, oh, I bought more of this stock today, I'd run home and I'd buy it. Or they'd say, I started a position on this, I started a position on that. I came to find out very later on that they had no idea what they were doing. I asked them, because I would buy 10,000 shares, $10,000, $15,000. I would sink all of my money. And you're saying, well, how did you have all that money to invest if you were making minimum wage? And that's because prior to working at the gym, I worked in the restaurant industry, in the kitchen, double shifts. I was an expediter and a line cook for 3 or 4 years. And I was living at home. That's key. Living at home, no rent, all that money from those double shifts into savings, into savings, into savings. And the biggest mistake at the time was not opening a Roth IRA. No one had ever told me to do that, which is why I'm such a big advocate of that on my TikTok channel right now. Anyway, so I had all this money in savings, big mistake, should have been invested in index funds and in a Roth IRA, and it wasn't. So what ends up happening is I have all this money saved and I'm copying these trades. And one day I went up to them and I said, hey, I overheard you talking about the stock. What's the story with it? And they go, well, I don't know. We're bored. We're retired. We find penny stocks that look fun to us and we buy 10 shares, 20 shares. They're putting in like $10, $20, no money. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the world's biggest idiot. I went and I was buying 10. I didn't tell them this. I was like, oh, okay. And then I left and I was like, oh my God. But I liked it. I didn't like losing the money, but I liked it. I liked the markets. I liked the trading aspect. And I thought, if I can do this, if I can figure this out, and this was in 2009. I started full-time 2011, but 2009 I started getting interested. Started going on Google, how to make money in the stock market. A book came up called, I'll put it in the description below, How to Make $2 Million in the Stock Market. Very gimmicky title, I know. Bought the book, read the book, loved the book, and I thought, it was written in the 1960s though. How accurate can this be today with technology? And it turns out that momentum investing is just momentum investing with or without technology. Obviously, you have technology, you have more resources at your disposal, but nothing really changed outside of that. And so I started trading stocks. And I'd make money, I'd lose money, whatever. And we were getting to that point with the management at the gym and myself just fighting all the time. Big picture, zooming all the way out, we're a little teeny rock in this galaxy floating around, and then you go zoom all the way in and your manager is like, tuck in your shirt. Why isn't your shirt tucked in? And I would say, is it really important that my shirt, and we're in a, fighting all the time. Finally, I got fired for being obviously difficult. And I thought, well, now what am I going to do? I guess I'm going to be a trader. I guess I'm going to start trading stocks. And that's what I did. Full in. 2011, I said, this is it. I'm a stock trader now. And I started trading. So we catch up to now, me being on TikTok, and how it all happened was I had some friends who were asking me, and they were like, hey, I want to trade stocks. I don't know anything about stocks. And it became clear to me that a lot of people just didn't know the difference between investing and trading. So they thought it was all the same. Trading, investing, I want to do what you do. And I would say, do you really want to trade stocks? I mean, you have a full-time job and you have kids and blah, blah, blah. And when you have kids in the equation, it's a lot harder to be a trader because you don't have that full-time, you don't have guaranteed income. Are you sure you want to do this? And they said, no, I don't want to do that. And I said, well, I think you want to be an investor. So I started teaching my friends, this is how you invest in index funds and blah, blah, blah. And friend after friend would come to me, say, hey, I want to learn. And I thought, if I make one YouTube video, and I put it on YouTube, anytime someone calls me and says, I want to learn how to invest, I can say, just watch the video. And I thought, well, that's not very fair if that's just for my friends. So I set the video to public instead of private, shareable with a link. And I kind of liked it, this idea of helping people. So I said, well, how am I going to promote my YouTube channel? Got to open an Instagram account. At the time, Instagram was flooded with Instagram, like day trading coaches and, buy my course, I'll teach you how to make money. And I started watching these videos and I was like, man, people are going to get ripped off. A lot of these courses are gimmicky. A lot of these courses promise that you can get rich really quick, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not okay with this. I don't like this. And my channel kind of morphed into this thing where I was like, I'm going to help people. I'm going to use my platform. I'm not going to charge, no courses, no one-on-ones, no private discords. I'm just going to help. And I ended up getting on TikTok about a year later because someone at my gym had told me, hey, you should be on TikTok. And I was like, that's for kids, man. So I didn't want to do it. I ended up joining. I got more followers on TikTok. Now I'm on all of them. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. But TikTok is the gold standard for me. That's where everything is. I'm trying to focus. That's why you're on YouTube watching this now. I'm trying to focus more on YouTube now because my TikTok account got to 218,000 followers. And I realized Instagram and YouTube have kind of been neglected. So I'm here and I'm trying to do this. There's a lot of long form videos on here now, educational content and stuff like that. But my TikTok account was moving along very rapidly. I was at 30,000 followers. And I one day ran a screener for some stocks to trade and AMC popped up. And it was like, I can't remember exactly, but let's just say it was $2 a share. I thought, I watched it for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I noticed that it would go up 20 cents and down 20 cents, up 20 cents and down 20 cents. And eventually it was forming a trading range. And I said, hey, I can trade this. So I mean, to me, the simpler the better. Now, when I go on Instagram or TikTok and I watch trading videos, they're so complicated. And I feel like they're making them extra complicated so you feel like a bigger moron and feel like you have to buy their course because you can't make any sense of this. For me, it was as simple as it was 2, now it's 220. Now it's 2 again, it's 220, it's 2 again, it's 220. And I said, hey, I'll buy 1,000 shares at $2. If it goes down, I will sell it at $1.95 or $1.99, depending on my own risk tolerance, or $1.90, sorry, not $1.99. I'll sell it when it goes down 5 or 10 cents. I'll lose either $50 or $100. And if it goes to 220, I'll sell it and I'll make $200. And the first time, went to 220, I sold it, I made $200. Went back down to 2, bought it again, went back up. I never took a loss on AMC when I was trading it. What ended up happening with AMC was, as my friend used to say, I started swinging with a bigger bat. I got more comfortable with the stock because it kept in its range. And 1,000 shares became 2,000, became 3,000, and my $200 profit became 400, 600, and I was making lots of money just trading AMC over and over. And then COVID happened, and the theaters shut down. And I said, I'm gonna do something that they recommend you never do. I'm gonna turn a trade into an investment. Normally when they say don't turn a trade into an investment, the reason they say that is because what has happened to you is you picked the stock to trade, it went down, and instead of cutting your losses, it got out of control. The loss went down more than 3, 5, 7%, went down 30%, and you go, well, guess I'll hold it now. So that's why they say don't turn a trade into an investment, because it keeps you in a negative stock and it ties up your money. It's money now that's sitting in a loser that you can't trade. So generally the idea is don't turn a trade into an investment. For me, the reason I decided to break the rules, is because I said, man, when this COVID thing is over and they announce that the theaters are opening, AMC stock is going to pop just on that news alone. I don't know where it'll go. Maybe it'll go, at one point in previous history, it had been $20. Now it was 2. But hey, if it can go to $20 again when COVID is over, previous highs, I'm gonna wait and see what happens. Maybe I would sell it at 15, maybe I would sell it at 10, I don't know. But let's just see what happens with this whole COVID thing. And I kind of just forgot about AMC. It was just sitting in my portfolio as a stock that it was a roll of the dice, a gamble. Individual stocks can be like that. That's why index funds are the way to go. I was interacting with someone on TikTok yesterday who said, how likely is it your stock can go up or down though? I don't know, what if I pick the wrong one? And I said, then don't pick one, pick an index fund. They have the history on their side and the track record, and yes, they can go down in the short term. The long term, you almost never lose in an index fund, an S&P 500 index fund, that is. You might lose short term. You might buy it that year, it goes down. And if you sell, then yeah, you've lost money with your index fund. But over the course of history, they've never gone down to zero. You've never lost 100% of your money unless you sell in a bear market. But in a bear market, I buy more. Anyway, it's just sitting off to the side of my portfolio. And then one day, and I've forgotten all about it. And the funniest thing about me in the markets is I don't really pay, at least before TikTok, I didn't pay attention to anything. I would just run my screeners, find my stocks, trade, whatever. I wasn't listening to the news. I didn't care. I wasn't on social media. What do you think about this scandal? What do you think? It didn't matter to me. So what ends up happening with TikTok is someone writes a comment on one of my videos and goes, "Can you explain what's going on with AMC or with GameStop and AMC?" And I didn't know. I was like, "What are they talking about?" So I went online, started reading about the GameStop short squeeze, and AMC was also being pulled up along with it, and I was like, "Oh, that explains why AMC is going up so much." And what happened very quickly was the short squeeze happened. People from Wall Street Bets piled in, the hedge funds piled in, the retail investors piled in, the traders, and AMC rocketed, and it hit my goal. You remember I said, oh, well, if COVID in the theaters, if it goes up to 20 or whatever, it shot right up, and I took my profits, held on to a little bit, and moved on. And actually, it was funny because that was the time when I got my very first death threat on social media, when I made a video saying, hey, if you have a profit, this is very unusual. What goes up, especially in volatile markets, must come down. Take your gains. I can't give financial advice, but I said, consider selling here. Consider taking some profits off the table. You don't have to sell the whole thing. If I didn't. I never liquidated my entire position on AMC. I kept a couple shares just for funsies, roll the dice, see what happens. But I was saying, we live in a country with skyrocketing personal debt. Medical bills are out of control, student loans are out of control, credit card debt is out of control, rent is expensive, food is expensive, being alive is expensive here. If you have a profit, a substantial profit like I did on several thousand shares, take it. That can pay off some debts. It can pay off some student loans. It can maybe be a down payment depending on how much you bought. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Consider selling. And someone said, you're a suit, you're against the Wall Street bets community. You want people to sell their shares because you're shorting it. And I was like, no, I want people to sell their shares to take some profits so they can have a higher quality of life. Anyway, someone threatened to, unalive me, and that was that. But yeah, I took some gains on AMC, and I was very happy to have done that because now we see where AMC is today. But that's what happened, and it propelled my TikTok account. That one video, that one comment, that one person, I wish I could find them and thank them. They said, can you explain what's going on? And I said, yeah, I can explain a short squeeze. And I explained it. And my account went from 30,000 followers to 110,000 followers in 2 days. And it was just like this surreal experience for me. And I was able to pivot my channel into a career. It never intended to be a job. I never thought I would be an influencer or a content creator or anything like that, a finance educator. I never thought that would be me. Like I said, when I was trading and investing, I kept things very simple. It's only got more complex because people ask me questions and they go, what do you think about this? And can you explain that? As someone who's not doing this as a job, being a content creator, my goal for other people is to make it as simple as possible, which is why my username is Trade, Invest, Simplify. That's why it started. Actually, that's not why it started. The Simplify was for minimalism because I'm a minimalist and I like living below my means. So I was making the channel, here are the 3 things that I'm interested in: trading, investing, and simplifying my life, or minimalism. It morphed the Simplify into, when someone once told me, they said, man, you take these very complex terms, whether it's trading or investing, and you simplify them. I get your username. And I was like, I get my username too. So it did morph a little bit into a ability to simplify these complex terms. But if you're not running a finance account, my urge to other people out there is to make it as simple as possible. Whether you're trading or investing, make it as simple as possible. The interactions I have with people who follow me show me that people are still so confused and unsure of themselves when it comes to investing. What if I pick the wrong stock? How many do I buy? What's the right one? If you could only buy one, I get comments all the time in DMs. I have $10,000. Give me one stock. Or I get comments from people who say I need $5,000 to pay off a debt or to pay off a medical bill. Give me a stock. Give me a stock. One time I got a DM from someone who said, I have $500 to invest. What should I invest in? And I said, oh, $500. I can't tell you what to invest in, but if I were you, I would consider looking at an S&P 500 index fund. And I broke down the math. I said, if you have $500 per month and you can put it into an index fund in 9% average rate of return, maybe 7% due to inflation, in 30 years or 40 years, you'll have this much money. And he went, whoa. I don't have $500 per month. I have $500 and I need a winner. And that makes me go like, oh man, don't look to the stock market like a casino. So many people look to the market like a casino that it gives it a bad rap. And it is the reason that so many people shy away from investing in markets, because they hear of stories of a friend or a family member who dumped everything into a stock thinking they were going to get rich. And they they twist it around into saying, I'm afraid to invest because my friend or uncle or someone, they invested and they lost everything. But that person didn't invest. That person was just gambling. And then that brings up the big debate: is day trading and swing trading, is that just gambling? I say no. Other people say yes. Doesn't really matter. If you think it's gambling, fine, it's gambling. If you don't think it's gambling, fine, it's not gambling. But day trading, swing trading, not for everybody. Not everyone has to be a trader, but everyone needs to be an investor. That's what I believe. If you want to retire, if you're tired of working like I was, if you're tired of having people yell at you, tuck in your shirt. One time I wore the Adidas, this is how long ago this was, when those pants were in style. The Adidas pants with the 3 white stripes down the sides of the legs. I wore those pants. And the desk at the gym came up to here, the front desk. So no one could see, number one, no one could see that my shirt was or wasn't tucked in. Yet it had to be tucked in. Why? Don't know. And you had to wear all black pants. You couldn't wear the 3 stripe. Again, why? No one can see the pants. No one can see my pants. I could be wearing no pants. I could be naked, waist down, like a no pants. No one would see because the desk was so high. That's the policy. That's why I got so tired of that. And I started trading and working for myself, making money as a trader. And then, after I was a trader, I started dumping more and more money into broad market index funds for retirement because I don't want to work forever. Now, if I can work forever doing this, I'm in. I love it. It's the thing that brings me joy. But if this whole TikTok thing dies tomorrow, I don't want to go back out there. I really don't. So that's why I came to the world of trading and investing, and it works for me, and it might not work for you as a stock trader. You know, you don't have health insurance. Well, here in America, I pay $470 a month through a company called Care First, which really should be called Profit First. You know, I own my apartment. It's paid off, paid in cash, so I don't have a mortgage. I'm very fortunate for those things. I don't have children. I don't want children. I don't have pets. I'm allergic. I don't have a family member who depends on me to take care of them. So trading stocks works for me. It might not work for other people. That's why I always say, don't worry about being a trader. Worry about putting as much as you can. Overinvest. They say, well, the max contribution to a Roth IRA is $6,500. Overinvest? Yeah. Max out your Roth if you can. If you have a 401k, contribute as much as you can to that. I'd be amazed if you could max out a 401k because I think the max contribution is like $22,000. But if you can max that out, go for it. If you don't have a 401k, open an individual account. Yeah, you'll pay taxes, but you won't pay taxes on your profits till you take them. But you will pay taxes on dividends. But you know what? Small price to pay to have more money invested. Not a single old person that I've ever met has said, I invested too much. All it means if you invest too much is you can retire a little earlier. That's the goal here. All right, I'll stop talking because it's 23 minutes now at the top of my camera. So if you haven't subscribed and you want to subscribe, I have playlists on here: investing for beginners, trading for beginners, tips, technical analysis, blah, blah, blah. It's all here on this channel on YouTube. And you can follow me on TikTok. I'll put all the links in the description below if you're interested. And now I am going to go finish my coffee. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day.